Hola, Dr. Christy Ennis. Thank you for tuning in today, and I am here at the beautiful Dominican Republic at the Dreams Resort, enjoying some time after being sick. So today's video, all you need is a mat or your bed. Totally okay to do this lying on your bed and not the ground. And we're going over some exercises you can do every day to not only help with mobility, but help with strength, especially those stabilizing muscles with my favorite form of exercise, Pilates. Yay! So let's get started actually on our hands and knees. Okay, so exercise number one is actually going to stretch out our spine quite nicely, and it is a combination movement here. So starting with those shoulders stacked over those wrists, you're going to take a nice breath in, and you're going to lift that head and arch that spine, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And then as you breathe out, you're going to tuck everything in, including that chin. You're going to hold that position, and from here, you're pushing it right back into a child's pose. If you want to add a little bit more to this, you can even add a little rotation back and forth to stretch out the lats a little bit more. So mid-back, low back. I have a doggy friend even in this video. And then you're going to come right back up into that hands and knees position. Try to shoot for 3 to 5 of these. Okay, exercise number two, still on those hands and knees, but now we're going to work some of those small back muscles in through those shoulder stabilizers and in through those abs. So again, making sure those shoulders are stacked over those wrists. And you also want to make sure with this one that you really keep those hips nice and level. So none of this, no wiggle waggling today, and no arching or rounding. So belly button in. We're going to start with left leg and right arm, kind of that classic bird dog. And then from here, to add a little bit more abdominal work, we're going to think about really tucking that tummy in and then squeeze that knee and elbow together. Again, not arching, not rounding, really trying to keep that nice flat spine. And for this one, you want to shoot for 10 on one side and 10 on the other. Okay, for our third exercise, we are sitting up again. This time, though, take those legs nice and wide, toes up, so we're starting to stretch those inner thighs as well as that inner part of those calf muscles. Now, this alone is lovely, but of course we want to add a little bit more to it to make it a little bit more fun and dynamic, and fun, I guess, to each his own. This is certainly fun for me. I hope it's fun for you guys also. So sitting up nice and tall, we're going to think about engaging in through those abdominal muscles, right? Just gently pulling that belly button in, arms coming out to the side, so now working those shoulders a little too. You want to keep a nice flat back and take a breath in, and we're going to rotate off to that right side, so using that spine a little bit, getting some rotation in through there, and then keeping that flat back. You're going to reach it forward towards those toes. It's totally okay if you don't touch your toes. I'd rather you keep a nice flat back. Keeping those belly buttons pulled in, you're going to use those abdominal muscles to pull you back up to the center. And then, of course, you have to do the other side. Same idea with that nice, slow, controlled reach and movement, shooting for about 5 repetitions on each side. Now, if this position is challenging to get into, if you have a yoga block, you can stick it right underneath your bum, or some nice hardy pillows, and that will help to open up those hips without putting strain on them. Exercise number 4 is still in that nice, tall, seated position. This time, though, we're taking one leg, and as long as it feels comfortable, the inside of that foot is coming against the inside of that thigh. You can place a pillow or a block here so you don't stress the knee if you have any discomfort there, or if your knee doesn't really want to flop down at all. I'm fortunately inflexible there. So toes of this right leg are going to come up. And we're getting nice hamstring stretch, but also some great abdominal work with this one. So gently pulling that belly button in. This time we're kind of hollowing or rounding a little bit. Arms come forward. You're going to lean back as far as you can to feel those abdominals working, but not to have strain in your back. So it is 100% okay if you're not able to roll down all the way. From here, again, keep that belly button and those abs engaged, pull right on up, and with that flat back, we're going to reach both arms forward towards that foot. Don't let yourself slump just to reach your foot. Our hamstrings don't attach to the spine, they're attaching into the hip. So we really want to make sure that that's what we're stretching. And then coming back up and repeating. So it's just that nice, slow, controlled motion. You can pause for a second or two and then go right back into that little bit of a fold. So if you can, shoot for 10 repetitions on each side to get some great abdominal work. Our fifth exercise is lying on the ground, and now that the sun is coming out, I am just gonna soak it up a little bit. I do love the sun. Okay, so from here, we're gonna bring the heels together and the toes open and knees falling apart. We're working on engaging those glutes, and having those legs rotated outwards actually kicks in some of those glute muscles a little bit better. Now from here, we're going to lift those butts up after doing that little bit of a pelvic tuck, because that also engages those glutes more. Arms are going to come overhead, and then I'm going to bring one arm back and one arm forward. Again, if it doesn't touch all the way to the ground, that is okay. You can have, again, a block underneath here to press into, but I do want to try to press from both ends. So I'm pressing one hand into the ground, one hand overhead as best as possible. I'm a little tight this morning too. Again, you don't want to arch in through any part of that spine, including the rib cage. But now we are engaging some of those lat muscles and some of those other muscles around the shoulder and spine, including those little paraspinal muscles too, even, to help get some additional support. So you're staying up in this bridge the whole time, alternating, pressing down into those arms. And even this arm that's pressing down into the ground here, you'll get a little bit of tricep work, and this arm way up here gets a little bit of shoulder work as well. So it's just that nice, ooh, the side's tighter, controlled, and I don't have a yoga block or pillow to press on. But nice controlled movement without letting those hips drop. So for this one, you actually want to get 20, 10 on each side for each arm, and lots of things might feel a little bit on fire after this one. This next exercise, still on our backs, yay, is going to work through the abdominals, especially the oblique muscles, because we're getting some rotation in, and obliques like that rotation and that side bending a little bit too. So making sure that you're in a good spinal position for you, in other words, whatever feels comfortable for your back, whether that's flat or maybe a little arch, engage by pulling in those abdominal muscles a little. And then legs are going to come up. This is where you want to make sure you don't bloop out the belly or change that spinal position. From here, hands are going to come behind the head. Now I'm going to straighten that left leg out. As I do that, I'm lifting up, and I'm not yanking with my elbow or my neck, but I'm rotating off to that right side, really using all of this right here, pausing in the middle and to come back down. And notice how nice and slow and controlled I am with this. It's not a here, which could actually do a little bit of damage, and we definitely don't want to do that. So again, alternating back and forth, pausing in that middle, making sure you're not pressing those abdominal muscles out or yanking that head. And you would aim for 20 repetitions here, again, 10 on each side, to really get some great ab work in. Okay, now we are switching to a side lying position so that we can work some of those side butt muscles, mostly that glute medius and some of that glute minimus as well. And obviously, one is a little bigger than the other, hence their names. All right, so lying all the way on your side, getting your correct setup position is really important for this exercise. So I want to make sure I'm all the way rolled onto my side, right? Not just chilling out here, rolling backwards. Even though it might be more comfortable, you can always stick another blanket or pillow underneath that hip if it feels like there's too much compression in through that hip. But when I look down at my legs, if I see all of my leg, that means that my legs are too far forward, and you're going to end up using too much hip flexor. So I should look down and be like, hey, feet, how's it going? Thanks for helping me out today. And maybe a little bit of the leg. Now, I like to keep my bottom leg bent for this one just because it is more comfortable. So our starting position is here, making sure you're not smushing down that torso either. And then that toe points down, again, to really use these muscles on the side more than these muscles in the front. I like to aim towards my heel too, so that I make sure that I'm really not coming too far forward. So starting here with that little leg lift, and we're actually going to do circles Notice I'm trying not to move any of the rest of my body. So shoot for 5 to 10 going forward, and then 5 to 10 going the other way again. Without using that whole body, we're working on stability here. And of course, make sure that you do the other side as well. Thank you so much for tuning in today, you guys. If you want to get rid of pain anywhere in your body on your own with just one little portable device, don't forget to check out the Derma Edge. I created this while I was going through Lyme disease to help get rid of my pain on my own, nice and gently. It's patented and made in the US, actually right down the road in Laconia from where my office is. So don't forget, you can click the link here or in the description to order your own.